Selena, your quiz became an example of something else. So it got folded up a little. Sorry. Because it's the only thing on there, and it's worth 0.1%, then it's marginal because it's the only thing that is there. As more things are added to just my work.com, then the weight of the quizzes will diminish to almost nothing. So you don't need to worry about it, because it's going to go away. Now, this question was designed to check two things. It was designed to check if you understood what surface area was, and then it was also designed to check if you could do algebra. So, of course, a great many of you will have an answer, and that answer would have to be R equals something. Now, the question is, was it a volume or a surface area question? Of course, since it's a wrapping paper, it has to be a surface area question. So you had to use the formula for surface area, which is 4 pi r squared. Now, since there are two unknown things in that equation, you couldn't solve it unless you know one of those two unknown things. But of course, you do know one of those two unknown things. You know the surface area. So the first problem was, again, to decide if it was surface area or volume. And a great many people in some of the other classes had a great deal of argument before they found out the right answer if it was surface area or volume. Of course, I reminded them to think of their birthday presents. Do your parents give you a box stuffed full of wrapping paper? Or do they give you a box with wrapping paper around the outside? It is obviously the one with the wrapping paper around the outside, which measurement only cares about around the outside surface area. So that was test one with this question, to decide if you would work with the surface area or the volume. I'm going to trust that you all figured it out, that it was surface area. The second part of this question, as I mentioned in red right there, was to test your algebra skills. So you, of course, put 2,500 in for surface area. And my favorite thing is when I watch people now writing this down, because that tells me that they didn't do it in the first place, which means I don't even need to walk around and check your homework because I know who did and who didn't do it. So a little warning, Just because I didn't walk around and see and put a little check mark by your name, rest assured, I am looking at you right now. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying. Okay? You can take it however you see fit. Preston? I'm well aware that that is a possibility, which is why, as I have also said a million times, doing or not doing your homework affects no one but who? You. It affects me not in the slightest. So, the next question is we check on our algebra skills. I would like to think that as the pre-diploma class, I used this example earlier. Algebra lives up on West Eagle Mountain. As you are the pre-diploma classes, you should at the very least, be living in a house right at the bottom of West Eagle Mountain. Understand? It's okay. You get it, right? You should not be living in a shack down by the river. Well, algebra lives up on West Eagle Mountain. You should not be that far removed from it. Does everybody understand what I am saying? If you indeed are of the group that lives in the shack down by the river and algebra is living up on West Eagle Mountain over there, then you're in trouble. And you need to fix that. Do I need to fix that for you? No, because you are in the 10th grade in the pre-diploma class. If you need help with algebra, when should you seek it? Outside of class time, because class has to move forward. With me? Do you have the availability of an expert in algebra? Yes. Is it me? Is it Mr. DeVries? Is it Mr. Keeley? Is it Mr. Abraham? Is it Mr. Dewey-Dog? And so on, and so on, and so on. Is it 13 million internet pages? Yes. Do you have the tools to fix your algebra issues? Yes. Let's move on. So, to solve this, your job is to get R by itself, which means you must move everything away from R. You get rid of this by algebra. Shouldn't be difficult because algebra tells you what to do. Math is a map to an answer, right? 4 times 7 plus 3 is 31. You follow the math, 4 times 7 plus 3 equals, you get to your goal of 31. If you need to get back to the 4, the 7, or the 3, you must reverse those directions, yes? Same thing. The question is the map. This is the goal. Since I know the goal, I must reverse the directions. The directions say multiply by 4, multiply by pi. So I must reverse that to divide by 4 and divide by pi. They, of course, will cancel, leaving me with r squared. But I must remember that an equal sign is a scale. If something changes on this side of a scale, then this side will also change, or it will no longer be balanced. So this also gets divided by 4 pi. Now, if we were in math class, which we are, is it okay to leave that pi there? It is. Is the question done yet? No, because r is not alone. R is still squared. What is the reverse of squaring? Excellent. So you square root that side to get r, and you square root that side to get a final answer. That is acceptable to me. Does that tell you the radius of the basketball? It does, but it's a useless expression to 99.9% of the viewing public, isn't it? Because the viewing public cannot visualize in their head what 2,500 or what the square root of 2,500 divided by 4 pi is. Show me that with your hands. Of course, none of you can, right? So, in reality, we would want to find the number. Now, very few of you, if any of you, can do that in your head. Very few of you, if any of you, could do that in one step on your calculator. But all of you should be able to do that on your calculator to get r squared, which would give you some number to equal r squared. And then, of course, you would square root that at the end of it all to get this number. Now, I know some people attempted it. There's a problem with trying to do this on your calculator. Some of you will punch this into your calculator, and your calculator will give you 1,963. And when you do that, you will say, okay, I got it, and you'll write that right there. And then you'll square root that, right? And you will get the square root of 1,963, which is 20 times 100, which is 4.5 times 10, 45. Which would mean your basketball radius would be this big. And some of you would tell me that is the answer because your calculator told you so. I would submit to you that your calculator is not your BFF. Your calculator does not know what you think because it has spent years with you and you are very in tune to each other's communications. Your calculator is a slave. It does what you tell it to do, following a very specific set of rules. If you tell it to do something that is not what you want it to do, it will do that and give you an answer. And you, being the people that you are, will believe your calculator. Now, I gave you a good method to help you dispel that issue, didn't I? Estimate first. What is 4 pi very close to? 4 times 3, which is 12. 2,500 is very close to 25 divided by 12, yes? Which would be 2, yes? Plus the 100. So this is very close to 200 without touching your calculator. Now, if you go to your calculator and it told you 1,963, do you believe your calculator? Of course not. You know you have entered something wrong. If you can't figure out why you got 1963, what should you do? Ask. Now, I have the best calculator you can possibly get. And you will notice that when I punch in 2,500 divided by 4 pi, best calculator I can buy. I can use this calculator to find a path to a star. And this calculator still told me 1963. Why? Because I didn't put those brackets. The calculator did what I asked it to do. It did 2,500 divided by 4 pi, which is, of course, 2,500 divided by 4 times pi, which is what I asked it to do by not having the brackets. Understand? So, again, I point out to you, use your brain. It's about 30 bazillion times more powerful than your calculator. Okay? Humanity has spent the last 500 years trying to make a machine that is as smart as us. They are getting close. They are still not there. Okay? So the answer is, of course, what? R equals 14.1. Aight? Aight. Question 2 that I asked you to do. I have a box and I have some golf balls. Some of you, when I ask this question, some of you are going to well, most of you are probably going to give me the wrong answer. Is this a math class question or a real life situation? Of course it's a real life situation, because who do you think decides how your food, toys, sporting equipment is packaged? Is it random? Of course not. Somebody is paid a buttload of money to make these decisions. Why? Well, that's the reason that the stores give us. We want to reduce packaging to save the planet. What's the real reason? They will save money by using the least amount of packaging possible. That's the real reason. But of course they tell us it's to save the world. Of course it's a contributing factor. Every business only cares about saving the world. Don't they? They don't care about making money. Okay. So, it is indeed a real life question. Is it easy to do without visualizing it? I find it difficult to do without visualizing it. Can I visualize it with a picture? Could I visualize it with formulas? Could I visualize it with words? I could, couldn't I? If I were to do words, what would I have? Well, I would have me a prism. I would have me 3 spheres. And I would need to find the empty space. Everyone agree? If I were to draw it, I would have a prism filled with 3 golf balls, and I would need to find the empty space. Right? Okay. I've already told you it's a volume question. How are you going to do it? Well, when I visualize, I see it as a prism minus 3 spheres equals empty space. Right? Okay. A prism is area of the base times the height. Oh, okay. Well, 3, 3, 9. So that's 3 times 3 times 9 for base, area of the base times the height. So that's 81. All right. Minus 3 spheres. Okay, well, minus 3. 4 pi r cubed over 3. What can I do with 3 and 3? Cross it out. So it's really 81 minus 4 pi r cubed. What's r? Radius. What is the radius? Half of a sphere, right? But you didn't tell us that, Mr. Myers. You just said there's golf balls in there. Or did I? How wide are the golf balls? Why? Because they fit. So what's the radius? So it's 81 minus 4 pi 1.5 cubed. Punch that into your calculator, one shot. What do you get? So 38.6? Is everybody happy with that? Yeah. Would your calculator have done it right? Yeah. Does your calculator know bed mass? Yeah. Will your calculator do cubed times pi times 4 and then 81 minus all that? Yeah, it will. Your calculator knows bed mass. Your calculator only knows bed mass, which is why that previous question, if you don't put those brackets in, your calculator does it wrong, because it only knows bed mass. There's a chance it... Which? In the first one?
Yes. So if I do 2,500.
So you push 2,550 divided by 4 pi. And you got 198?
There's some calculators.
Great. Awesome. Good. Why do you think it does that? Because what do most people not do right with a calculator? Right? Okay. The calculators I was given when I was your age, you were lucky if they had brackets. You had to write everything out you were doing and keep it on your piece of paper, then go back and use it again. All right. Everybody is good? Everybody's good? Really? Why not?
That's only one. Well, that's only, you have to have the empty space.
81 was the full volume of the box. I removed 3 golf balls. Now, let me ask you this. If you didn't do that canceling, if you tried to do this all without showing work, is that a little bit difficult to punch into your calculator? But is that? No. So again, I ask you, do I have to show work? Yes. Because it makes your life easier.
For the math exam, if there's like multiple choice, do we have to show our work?
I don't care if you don't show your work on multiple choice. You should never need to show your work on multiple choice. The answer is on the page. You should be able to look at it and estimate and get close enough to get the right answer without ever doing any work. Right? Because if I were doing this, what I would do is 81 I can do in my head. And here, I would go, all right, well, r cubed, r has to be 1.5, right? Okay, so, and 4 pi is 12. 1.5 cubed has to be a little bit less than 8. 12 times, 1.5 cubed isn't less than 8. It's significantly less than 8. 12 times that, and then I would subtract in my head, and I would come up with an answer close to that. And then, because you're in grade 10, one of those choices is close. The other ones are off the map. Now, at university, there's 10 choices, and they're all going to be close. And then you need to do work. But I personally, when I do a multiple choice test, and I did it the same way when I was your age, because our teacher said estimate, and we did because our calculator sucked, and you had to do the work anyway, we always estimated. Because then, when your calculator spews out garbage, you know it's garbage. So I almost never break. You watch me when I do the key to one of your tests, you will not hear. Right? All right. Your job today, 34 to 37. No, you've got all day today and tonight. Now, please notice you have an upcoming quiz. Obviously, I will not be giving you that quiz until we have gone over everything between the last 2 quizzes, which you can quite plainly see is surface area and volume. The questions you are doing today are on what? Surface area and volume. So I will not give you the quiz till we have gone over it. When is the earliest we can go over it? Tomorrow. Of course, because I am a fair man, I want you to have time to look at the go-over so you see it done properly. Which means the next you need another day. Friday is a professional day. Only an idiot would attempt to assess you on a Monday after a long weekend. So when is your quiz? See how smart you all are? And oh, look, I said it was going to be tomorrow. But what am I doing?
You're being nice to us.
I'm not being nice to you. I'm having faith that I'm going to need to go over it tomorrow.
Why?
Quizzly Pop is a name I have given to it Because the only reason you get stressed out about quizzes is because of the word quiz. When it's a worksheet, all of you are like, whatever, I'll do it if I want. Maybe I'll go to my cousin's goldfish's funeral. I don't really care. But if I call it a quiz, oh my God. And then, if you do the whole worksheet right, you're all like, whatever, I don't care. I could give you this exact same worksheet on Tuesday, but with quiz written at the top instead of cones, pyramids, and spheres, and you'd all be like, oh my God, it's a quiz. I'm screwed. I can't do it. Even if it was the exact same questions, and the only difference is the word quiz. So I like to make a little bit of fun of you and do things like calling them Quizzly Pops, or Snickle Fritzes, or Kaboodly Heinzes, because it doesn't matter what I call it. It's the same damn work. Go to the bathroom. Yes, Brittany. Huh? Oh, you know what it is, actually, because we have drawn 1,000,000 of them. Wait for it. There is Annette. Who's your only friend that you should always take fishing? Annette. Or the other way you could do the joke, you can't go fishing without a net.
So a net is just a cylinder?
No, a net is the flat version of a three-dimensional thing. So this becomes a cylinder when I roll up the rectangle and put the circles on the top and the bottom. Now, another funny joke. Another funny joke. Huh? Yay. Why did I make the S gigantic? It's important. Do you have S? No, you have H. What do you need to do every time you need to find S? Pythagoras, 25, 15. Square root of 25 squared plus 15 squared. Square root of 625 plus 225. Square root of 850. Pi times 15 squared plus pi times 15 times the root of 850. If you're going to leave it as pi, 225 pi plus 15 root 850 pi. That's how you would leave it if you're going to leave it as pi. If you're going to give me an answer, you're going to take the square root of 850, which is 29 point blah. It's 0.6, okay. Then you would have 15 times 29.6 times pi plus 225 times pi. My guess would be 450 times pi is 1200, 1350 plus 700 is about 2050. Is my guess without the pi. Doing that in my head. What is it? 2082. Hey, that's pretty good considering I worked out in my head.
Yeah. I'd want 669 with the pi.
With the pi, sure. 669 times 3 would be about 2082.
Yeah. So if we were to leave it.
Or 660, what'd somebody say, 665 pi? I don't care. What's the important part? This. Can't draw a net of a sphere. Why? Because it doesn't exist. Surface area of a sphere, 4 pi r squared. 4 pi 25 squared. 4 pi times 625. 2400, 2500 pi. Or something around 7,600, blah. 7,800? Cool in the gang. 7,800, blah. Because it doesn't matter. You can leave it right there. Because that's what I want. It's you guys that can't deal with leaving it that way. Not me.
I worked on it.
You got some distance from it now, Ganika? You can accept it?
I always leave it as a pi.
Nice.
Proud of myself.
You should be. You let go of some old stuff and you embrace something new. This is a safe space. I know. I know. And yet, it's like pulling your people's teeth to get you to leave pi in there. No, no, no! I have to use 3.14! I have to! Chill, dude. No! Relax. Right? All right. Get back to work. A triangular pyramid. I notice everybody drawing the net and finding the surface area. Just says volume and doesn't say to draw a net. But whatever. That's cool. The net, of course, is this. Because each of those triangles will fold up and make a triangle.
That's so cool.
Okay. Now, the volume. What is the volume of every single pyramid? Is the area of the base times the height divided by 3, yes? What's the base of this triangular pyramid? It's this triangle, yes? What do I know about that triangle? It is 13 centimeters all the way around, yes? Everyone agree? Now, to find the area of that triangle, it is base times height divided by 2, yes? And this is where we get into that situation where what is the height? What is the base? What is the base? It has to be 13, yes? Because they're all the same. So the height, as always, is a perpendicular line from the center of the base. Yes, Catherine?
So when it says the base is 13 centimeters, does it mean that it's 13 centimeters in all?
No, it means 13 centimeters on each side. Just like on your sheet. Okay? So, I need to find the height, which is a perpendicular line from the middle of the base. No matter what, right? Because even if you do a pyramid, the height goes from the middle of the bottom, the square, perpendicularly straight up. Yes? Okay. So that means I must need that distance. Yes? Well, what did I just do with that red line to 13? Split it into what? Half, which is what? 6.5. That's 13. How do you find the third side of a right angle triangle when you have the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse minus the leg. So, it is 13 squared minus 6.5 squared, and I square root it to get my h for here, which is... That's the height of the pyramid. Where's my square root button on this calculator? This is not my calculator. I cannot see the square root button. Ah, yes. It is 11.26. What is the base of this triangle? 13. So it is 13 times 11.26 divided by 2 is 73.18. That is the area of the base. Now, area of the base goes in area of the base. What is the height of the pyramid? 9. So it is 73.18 times 9 divided by 3 to get 219.54. Now, again I ask you, is there any math there that you have not seen and that you do not understand? No. What makes this complicated? Figuring out how the numbers become something real. Yes? Please be aware there are two issues at play here. All of you can do this math. It is nothing new to you. So do not think that you don't know what you're doing because you are getting the wrong answer here. It's not the math that is causing you problems. Okay? Why is there that box moving around? Such a piece of garbage. The machine. And now the red square is gone. All right. So B, a square pyramid with a base of 4 and a height of 5. Now, I believe it was Marianne or Catherine, I can't remember who, asked, well, how do you know what base that is speaking of? Well, if it was the base area, so the square at the bottom of the pyramid, then wouldn't it be meters squared? Wouldn't it? Right. So, this is this pyramid, 4 by 4, with a height of 15. And I only want the volume. What is the volume of every pyramid? Volume of a pyramid is area of the base times the height divided by 3. What's the area of the base? 16 times 15 divided by 3, which is 240 divided by 3, which is 80 meters cubed. Now, volume of a sphere, 4 pi r cubed over 3, 4 pi 18 cubed over 3, 4 pi 18 times 18 is 324. I don't know what 18 cubed is. 18 cubed, 5,832 times 4, 5,382 divided by 3, which is 23,328. Pi divided by 3, 7,776 pi centimeters cubed. Now, am I happy with that? Yes. If that's not on the multiple choice test that someone gives you, what must you do? That number times pi. And pi is a pain to find on this calculator. I never remember where it is. There it is. To get 24,429.024, so that. Everybody good? Yeah, sure, you betcha. And finally, a cone with a radius of 25 inches and a height of 12. Cone is a pyramid, isn't it? So it's area of the base, pi r squared, times the height, divided by 3. Pi times 25 squared times 12 over 3. 625 times 12. 7,500 pi over 3. 2,500 pi. Or $7,853.98. Yeah? Yeah. Now, I am not going to be doing any more today, but I'm going to do this. Please notice I have asked for surface area and volume here, yes? So, for surface area, the surface area of this figure is a prism, agreed, minus a cylinder. What? What part of the cylinder? Just the top and bottom. Minus cylinder circles, because these circles are cut out, but what did I make there? A new surface. So I have to add the cylinder side. Right? Now, you're smart kids. A cylinder surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Which of those is the circles? The 2 pi r squared. That makes that the sides. Right? That is the one bit of help I am going to give you on those 2 pages. And that's all the help you need, because if it works once in math, when else does it work? Every time. So all of you should be recognizing that cutting something out creates new surface. Cutting something out does what to the volume? Decreases and decreases only. Because ain't no new volume when you cut that out, is there? Good.